Hello and welcome. My name is Joanne Sapers, and I am the founder of GoDeepWithLove.com. And I am here to introduce you to my wonderful, wonderful colleague and friend, Carlee Myers. Hi,
Hi,
Carlee.
everyone. Hi.
Her business is Work You Love, and she is an amazing young woman. So I'm going to say, Carlee, what would you like to share as you say hello to everybody?
Thank you for the intro. Now, I'm Carlee
Absolutely.
Myers. As Joanne said, I'm the founder of Work You Love. And what I do is I help people who are no longer happy at work or feel stuck find their joy. And today I really wanted to talk about, Joanne had me come on here to talk about work-life balance. Like, is this realistic? Is it a thing?
And it may be your business, it may be a business that you're working for someone else, it doesn't matter. Carlee is about giving you hope that you can have this balance when it comes to what you are doing with work, as long as you're doing what you love or you love some aspect of it, and she'll teach you more about that. And how do you come home and have that balance and that harmony from your day at work?
Yeah. Hi, Shelly. I see a wave from Shelly. Um,
Right.
so, so yeah, no, I think this topic actually just came up on Forbes on their website, right? They just wrote 5 reasons we should give up on work-life balance. And I'm here to tell you that it's not unrealistic to say, I want to feel like I have time for myself, or I want to feel like I can get to work, right? Or vice versa, whatever that looks like for you. Now, I think that there's a point, right, where we shouldn't have the expectation that we have to spend, 50-50 in either, right? Life is fluid, and life is the umbrella and work is a category underneath of it. So in some ways that word does set us up for failure. But I'm here to tell you that whatever balance looks like to you is totally okay and is absolutely realistic. So if you want to work, if you have a 9 to 5 and you want to keep email out of your life, that is a totally realistic expectation. So I know, Joanne, you might have some thoughts on work-life balance and how that interplays, how that's shown up in people in your life. So I'm curious to hear what your perspective of work life is.
Absolutely. At my age versus Carlee's, life can be different. And one of the things that I have learned, and I know Carlee and I, even though we're different in age, we're both very old souls, so we connect deeply. And what I say that I'm going to say right now, I know she does in her life. She's an amazing artist. Also, there's a lot of different parts of Carlee. So to answer your question, Carlee, what I do when I start my day, and I know that this is something that you get involved in, I do meditation, I do journaling, I do beautiful exercise. I do total silence. I do anything and everything that is going to say yes to me and remind me, because I go very deep on the spiritual level, that everybody is one, everything is one. And as I wake up in the morning, I'm part of this oneness. So I go through this whole spiritual dance, and that moves me into the day.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's always interesting and lovely to hear the different perspectives of what does that look like for you? For some people, it's about, create, like for me, it's about getting to the studio, creating time to be creative, because that's my, spiritual practice. That's my, meditation practice. That's my just me time, right? So I would say like work-life balance, that it depends on what you want out of life, right? There was a time in my life when I was working a full-time job and I wanted to grow my business, right? And for me, work-life balance was my day job was work and my life was my business. That doesn't, there's a lot of judgment around that, but it was right for me. And so I would encourage all of you to think about what's right for you, what's right in terms of what you want to create in your present moment, in terms of self-care, in terms of taking care of yourself, but also think long term to take care of yourself, right? So if I hadn't have thought long term about where I wanted to be, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with you, on a weekday working on my business, and on my own hours, right? So it's all about perspective. Now, there's also some things that go into work-life balance, right? So when we don't have that a balance that is true to us. We oftentimes end up feeling emotions and carrying baggage that is just unnecessary. So I can tell you a story
I was
about,
going to ask you to tell us a story. So good,
yes,
good.
yes, I can tell you a story about a client of mine who, when she first started working with me, she was really stretched then. She was working all the time, volunteering for different organizations. All of these things meant a lot to her, and they were really great causes. However, as a painter, she wasn't able to find much time for her painting. You know, between all of those obligations and then taking care of her family, she has an elderly family member that she has to take care of, right? So she was finding herself getting snippy, right? Getting resentful, you know, making dinner for her family and throwing it on the table saying, here, take it. You know, these are the people that she loves the most, that she would never in a million years want to treat that way. Yet, because she didn't have a balance between her work and her obligations, her responsibilities, and what meant most to her, her passions, her calling, right? Um, she ended up holding a resentment, baggage, etc., that just did not serve her in all aspects of her life. She was showing up angry, she was showing up resentful. And then when she wasn't angry or resentful, she was showing up energetically exhausted and unable to really engage. And so, what we did for her is we figured out what is that balance. Well, her balance was that she needed at least, you know, a certain number of minutes and a certain number of hours in the studio every day in order to feel like she was living the life she wanted to live. And when we were able to create a slow, steady practice to get there, right? We didn't just say, oh, we're going to get you into the studio 6 hours a day. That's realistic, right? We have to build up to it. When we started saying, okay, here's 10 minutes of sketching, we're going to start there. And we're going to go to 30 minutes. And then we're going to get you into the actual studio. And then, right? She was able to start, first of all, start to let go of all of those emotions and that baggage, because she was starting to feel proud of herself, right? I have boundaries. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And second of all, when she started doing that, she started clearing her mind so that she was able to make better decisions for herself. So once you start having pride in who you are and what you're doing, you start to realize, I'm worth it, right? I'm worth saying no. And so when things that came up, volunteer opportunities that were going to take away from her sacred space, that life side of the balance, she started realizing, oh, I can say no to this. No is probably one of the best self-care, practices we have. And she was able to see that and be able to respond with kindness and compassion for that person, but also for herself. And what's amazing about her story is that now she doesn't get into the studio every day, right? But she gets into the studio more days than not. And she recently, this past spring, had a show here in Philadelphia at a local hotel and almost completely sold out her paintings because she was making them, right? Because she was setting that aside. Yes. And so we might not think that this me time, this life part of the balance scale is important, but it might lead us down a journey that we could have never imagined. It doesn't have to always, we don't always have to have a plan in some ways, in terms of following that intuitive pull. So,
yay. And so I want to say with what you just said, that everyone that's listening, what I hear from you over and over again is there is so much hope for people that are feeling dissatisfaction right now. Whether, trying to balance life is not an easy thing. And saying yes to yourself and no to the aspects of your life that are no longer serving you, which is exactly what you just said, is the way for so many wonderful, both with your clients and just people you speak to when you do workshops. And speaking of workshops, what's going on?
yes. So Joanne and I were talking. I've been talking to a few other folks in the community, and it turns out that this is something that we haven't allowed ourselves to really work on, right? We haven't been able to say, I need to work on balancing these things, right? We think about, okay, I need self-care, or I need to improve my performance at work, but we don't think about those two things coming together and supporting each other. And so what I've decided to do is I've decided to put together a free online training. It's happening on November 19th, Monday. evening at 7 p.m. And it's called Work-Life Balance. And it's all about how to enjoy your life without sacrificing progress at work, without sacrificing the progress in your career. So please, this is a limited time opportunity. I don't do these free online trainings very often. So we do have the link. I believe we have the link in the description, Joanne, to register. Yes. So make sure you click that link. You must register in order if you want to attend, because you get a special link to join us in a private video room. So please click that link to join us on November 19th at 7 p.m. And I will teach and educate on how to find that balance, as well as taking some personal questions at the end of the training as well. So if you have personal questions on how do you balance all of this, please.
And Carlee is a walking example of doing this. She has taken her life and created it in the way that she desires. And now you wake up in the morning and say, I can't believe how wonderful my life is and how much freedom I have.
Yeah. Now that's not to say it's all rainbows and butterflies, but it is when you wake up knowing that you're in the right place and that you're in control of your life. It's a whole nother playing field. You're more willing to show up and do the difficult work because this is what your calling is. This is what your purpose is. And I think that is what's key, is not the butterflies and the sunshine. It's the, it's the fact that it's worth going through the hard times for.
It is. And you have done a beautiful job and you continue to do it. So even if you're curious, check in, register, and you'll be thrilled that you did. So thank you so much, Carlee, for giving me the gift of interviewing you and sharing what you do with everybody. So if it's for you, great. If you know someone that you feel Carlee can help, private message her, give them that information. If you can't find her, let me know. I'll be happy to help you reach her. Have a blessed and joyous day. And once again, Carlee, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye. Okay, you there? Let's see. Okay, so let's go here. Hi.
Hi, I think we're still live.
You there?